to get started. It's 6:32. Thank you everybody for attending the webinar number 2 for interactive football. It's a great day, and I'm glad that we have such wonderful panelists to join and to discuss and really share with everyone their feedback using our equipment. Just to follow up, on Monday, actually Tuesday, we had our first conference call or webinar, and we talked about what interactive football is, the equipment, why we invented it, and its place in the football industry. So we talked about that, but more importantly, after we talk about what it is, we need feedback. You know, when people are playing it from different perspectives, what is their experience with it? And so we're excited about today's webinar because we've got an awesome panel who have used our equipment. We provided each one of the panelists at least 2 units, and they've had some time to try it out. Especially in COVID, we can't go out and play full games, but they have the vest, the gloves, the ball, the modules, and they see and understand how it works. And just like you, I'm going to hear their feedback, and we're going to learn more about their experience from their perspective. As we talked about, interactive football is not just for the athlete, it's for the community, and there's different stakeholders who have different values from the equipment. So we have a very diverse panel today that are going to give you their feedback from their unique perspectives. We have parents on the call, we have students, student athletes, we have former professional players, and those folks are going to give their feedback to us so that we can learn more about it. So I'm going to walk through and give the panelists a chance to introduce themselves so that you can learn more about who they are and then when they discuss how they feel about the equipment and their feedback, that's going to be awesome to hear. So the first person we want to give a chance to introduce is Michelle. If you'd like to introduce yourself to our webinar audience.
Hi, my name is Michelle Burleson, and I'm a mom of 4 boys. 3 of them are athletes, so those were my crash test dummies and my subjects for this. And we did have a lot of fun, especially since we're quarantined. I'm also a professional in the community and an active member of the Frisco Chamber of Commerce.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. And I'm glad you've joined us today because your feedback is invaluable. All right, the next panelist is Teddy. Teddy, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Ted Darlington. I'm a parent of an 8-year-old son, and I'm also vice president of our local Boys and Girls Club community organization and the University Park Azaleas Cricket Club, Fear the Flower. So we've had some time to use the equipment with my son and with some of the people in the Boys and Girls Club and some of the cricket team. So we really enjoyed the experience, and I'm just here to share my opinion.
Awesome. We can't wait to hear your feedback. All right, we're going to go to Callie. Callie, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Callie. I'm current junior at Frisco High School. I was given the amazing opportunity to be a brand ambassador at Interactive Football through my passion of entrepreneurship in sports. I'm also a part of 2 entrepreneurship clubs and 3 varsity sports at my school.
Wonderful. Thank you, Callie. And we're interested to hear your perspective from being part of the Dream Team also.
Thank you.
All right. So the next person we're going to have introduce themselves is Aryan. Aryan, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Aryan Janolkar. I'm actually a first-year Indian transfer student and former vice captain of the Indus State sports team back in my home country. Right now, though, I'm a junior in high school, and I love the interactive football idea, so I got the amazing chance to try out and be a part of it as a brand ambassador. So that was an incredible opportunity. I also got to try out the tech with some of my friends and my community in the recent past. So that was an amazing opportunity, but yeah.
All right, looking forward to your feedback. All right, the next we have is Garrett. Can you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Garrett. I'm a sophomore at McKinney Boyd High School, and I play football there. I first figured out about interactive football at a pickup game at the Star in Frisco, and it was an awesome experience. I got to play with my friends, try out the equipment, and yeah, I mean that's about it about me.
Awesome. Thank you, Garrett. And then we're going to talk to Desmond. Let's see, is Desmond on as yet? I don't think I promoted him. So let's go to Dominique. Dominique, I'm going to unmute you. And I think you should be able to hear and speak to the team, Dominique.
Hi, my name is Dominique Edison. I'm a former NFL football player. Played 3 years in the NFL. Currently, I am a athletic boys coordinator in North Dallas. And so I have an 8-year-old son, and I'm here to speak on our experience.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, Dominique. Appreciate you joining. And now we're going to go to Rambi.
Hey, Romby Bryant here. I played 3 years NFL, 1 year NFL Europe, and 7 years in Canada. And I'm here to speak on my experience with interactive football. I've been around since he made the first module or whatever years ago. So it's came a long way. Looking forward to speaking with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Rambi. All right. I've got one more person I'm trying to get on the webinar so you all can see him, and that's Desmond. And I think we're almost there. There we go. All right, Desmond, we can see you. If you can introduce yourself. Mm-hmm.
All right. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Not sure what happened. So I bring 22 years of coaching experience. I began Kids Elite Sports in Washington, D.C., which is a sports camp for kids ages 4 through 12. We do have some activities that ranges up to high school age. And we're a developmental sports, youth sports program. Our mantra is diversification over specialization. And, we grew from 10 campers to 800 plus campers over the past 7 years and 4 locations. So it's been really exciting. And it's just been just a fun ride with Kevin and their Interactive Sports Group with Interactive Football. And I'm excited to share some things with you all tonight in terms of our experiences from our campus perspective.
Great, great. Thank you, Desmond, and thank you for all the panelists again for taking the time to share your experience. We're going to keep this fun. We're going to keep this moving at a pretty fast pace, and we've got some interesting questions. So I'm going to hand it off to Brooke, who's over our marketing team. And Brooke, if you can take it away with facilitating the Q&A. And let me see if I can unmute you, or you might have to unmute yourself. There we go.
There we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Brooke Gladney. I'll be facilitating the panel tonight. The first question that I want to ask is for anyone who wants to answer, and it is, would you say that interactive football is good for kids to play?
100%.
Could you elaborate on why you feel that way?
I like the, my boys are hockey players, so I'm not saying there's not a lot of risk of injury, but I do like the lower risk of injury involved with the interactive football. They really enjoyed it. They had a lot of fun playing it, but they did not start engaging in tackle. And even as we all know, the flag pulling sometimes gets crazy. So I really like that perspective, and it was healthy. It was fun. It was good for them to be outdoors and enjoying sports, team sports again.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else would like to answer the question?
I can add to that as well. I remember fondly when we first started Kids Elite, and we had a really intense game of touch football, and then there's been times we've had intense games of flag football, and there's ways that you can kind of sway the rules a bit more when it comes down to flag football by tying your flags, or the pace of the game slows down quite a bit as a result of having to go pick up a flag here and there. And then on the touch side, there's always this big debate if you got tagged or not. And I'll never forget, we had an incident where a kid tackled a kid because he said that I wanted to make sure you knew I tagged you, since you always say I never tag you. And so you all of those hazy areas are taken care of with interactive football. And we at Kids Elite, we always think about pacing for sessions. We want our campers to get in a certain number of steps, every session that they play. And the pace of interactive football is amazing. It's nonstop. You're able to huddle quickly. You're able to, get to the next set, next play a lot quicker than your average flag football game. It's been a huge success at Kids Elite Sports.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
I also have a comment. I had actually, I love football. Played it all the way, through high school, and my brother played in college, and but my son, I hadn't really introduced it to him because of the, kind of the head injury issues. But with most kids, he went to school and they were playing flag football, so he was kind of into it. So I was really happy to see another option come along. And when he played it, he actually said, and everybody who's played it down here so far said they like this game better because it's a lot faster. Um, they don't have to bend down and grab the flags. And it just moves a lot faster. So everybody that we've experienced with, really, really likes this form of football, over flag. And at the same time, my son is satisfied with this at this point. So now he's not asking me for tackle. So it's been really good.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Anyone else would like to comment? What about our student athletes?
I will. So I would say in these times, it's good to get kids back in the safe physical environment. It also allows girls and boys to compete against their age group because in football, girls aren't allowed to play. And I've been growing up since I was a little kid. I've always wanted to play. And so seeing this opportunity in Frisco for girls to be able to compete in the sport would be really good for them to do.
Awesome. So if no one else wants to answer that question, I'll move on. Since we're already with the student athletes, would you all say that it was easy to use, like the equipment and the modules?
I'll answer that one. It was pretty easy to use. When I first put it on, it felt nice, felt comfortable, it fit like a glove. I mean, from the gloves to the vest to even the football in my hands, it wasn't too big, it wasn't too small. It was easy to use. I mean, it was easy to take off too. I mean, I played flag football one time, and one of the hardest things was actually trying to put it on. It was one of those ones that went around your legs as well. And it was one of those things that was hard to put on, hard to take off. But with interactive football, it's easy to put on, easy to take off. It's comfortable all the way through. And I mean, it's perfect for everyone, every size.
Awesome. You had the experience. What about you, Ariane? Did it fit well?
Yeah, actually, this is actually pretty. This is right up in my alley because I have a family that's very not tech savvy. So they don't very know how to use much software. They don't know how to use the technology. But this was very easy for them. I didn't even have to explain anything. I was able to just show them the equipment, show them the button, and they just got it immediately. The beeps, the clicks, everything. It's smooth. You don't have to explain a lot of things up ahead. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say it was a great experience.
Okay, Garrett talked about how it fit and how snug it was. How would you all describe like the fit of the gloves with gripping the ball as well?
Go ahead.
So when I put it on, it was actually easy to grab the football because I never really played this sport. And so for the glove to it felt like sticky on the football, which was nice. And I thought it was easy to throw and it was nice to feel. It was smooth, stuff like that.
Cool. Ariane, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'd say it's just. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'd say it's the same for me. Yeah, catching the football felt way easier. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, it felt like I was professional. Having the gloves in my hands, everything. Yeah, so it was a great experience.
Awesome. What about you, Garrett?
I mean, it felt like the glove was meant for the football. I mean, when you play tackle football, it's one of the biggest problems I have is looking for the right glove for the position I'm playing at the time. I mean, you got to find the right company that makes the right size for your hand, right stickiness for the ball, but with this glove and the ball, I mean, it just fits so perfectly just it fit around my hand like a mitten, and it latched onto the ball perfectly. It was easy to catch. It was easy to throw, and it all around was just perfect.
Awesome. Would you all say it was a positive experience as far as gearing up, as far as putting everything on, the gloves, doing the straps on the vest?
Yeah, definitely. It was a lot of fun actually to gear up. It felt like, I don't know, it felt like you were playing with something that was high quality, something that was like, it was worth every amount of time you spent into it and stuff like that. So yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
I would like to also comment. So it was like easy to put on, like Arian said, and you didn't have to put much time into like you're putting things up or setting up a field or stuff like that, like other sports. You just put on the gear and then you just go out and play. So it's fun to do that.
Awesome. All right, for our parents, what do you think as far as the gearing up process for those who have, or if you can comment as far as someone who's used the technology for their facility, how would you say the gearing up process is in your opinion?
Just to keep it interesting, plus I didn't have time because I was busy working the whole time, as Kevin knows, but I gave it to my 13 and 14-year-old and said, figure it out and don't bother me. And it was kind of an interesting experiment because once they stopped fighting about it, they did figure it out. So I think if a 13 and 14-year-old can connect everything properly, figure it out and get it working, that's a really good testimony.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with it. My son is a little younger, so I had to hold the glove so he could slide his hand in. But, he went right to the jersey and kind of figured that out. It's kind of put it on and connected it and was ready to go. It was really, really quick. And when we had other people do it, once they saw him do it, they were able to do it themselves, very quickly.
Cool. That sounds awesome. All right. So earlier we had a panelist mention the pace of the game and how it was faster than picking up the flag. How would you all say, from those who watched the game, how would you all attest to the pace of the game versus other forms of football?
The pace is a lot faster. It reminds me of it's like comparing professional or NFL to arena football, right? Everything's a lot faster, and the CFL as well. Everything's a lot faster, but they force it to be that way because of the shot clock and all that. But like compare interactive touch football to flag football, there's less things you have to do as far as chasing down flags, putting them on, flags falling off while you're running, and having to, as a coach, dealing with little kids, or not dealing, working with little kids, having to put on their flag and get them ready for the next play. So yeah, the pace is a lot faster, especially for little kids.
Awesome. Dominique, have you been able to experience the pace of the game?
I have. My son and I, we actually got out and we experienced it Monday, I think it was, but our experience was really good. I mean, as everyone kind of said on here, it was really easy setup, the modules, inside the vest and also inside the gloves. What we found that, everything was pretty accurate, when the touch of the vest and those things, we received the notification, that there was a tag or whatever. And it was lightweight. The gloves fit really well. It was almost as if they were like NFL style gloves where the gloves stick really well to the football. Overall, really a great experience. Really happy I was able to be a part of it.
Brooke, I think you're on mute. I think you muted yourself.
There we go. My apologies. So for those who have who've coached, so Desmond, how would you say that this form of football would benefit your athletes when you look at the development and their overall game?
I've already pretty much spoke to the pacing, which I mean, I just can't emphasize that enough. Exactly what Romby is saying, and it has really added an additional spark. And then it's just the latest and greatest state-of-the-art technology, and kids are really able to relate to that, and they're captivated by it. I mean, either they're captivated by the lights or the sounds, but you know, they just have a much appreciation for the fact that it grossly lessens the chance of them becoming injured as it relates to tackle football at an early age, and we've heard some of those concerns from Michelle, and even I'm a dad as well, so I have that concern with my own kids, and this lessens that severity of those types of things happening. But just the pacing, it keeps the game honest, it keeps it fast, it keeps them involved, and then you have the state-of-the-art technology to go along with it. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better product to work with our campers at Kids Elite with.
Awesome. Dominique, would you agree with some of his points as far as the skill development for players?
Yes, I do. I think, we teach our athletes, to, keep their heads up, eyes up, and what this interactive football does, it teaches those techniques. And a lot of times, with flag football, kids are, with their head down, trying to reach and trying to grab the flags. And oftentimes, they're putting themselves in a uncomfortable or injury situation. So I think, the game is definitely teaching kids great techniques and good habits that they can carry on to tackle football.
Awesome. Romby, what's your take as a former player as well?
The skills, yes, it benefits them because it teaches them the fundamental skills of the game. And kind of like what Dominic just said, like it would translate over easier to tackle football. And it's just the integrity of the game is still there. And I feel like in flag football it's not there, because he talked about, like, when you're reaching for your flag, your head's down, and it's teaching the skills that you can't use when you switch over to tackle football. But in interactive touch football, those skills are still intact. So it keeps the integrity of the game, and it teaches you the fundamentals of the game.
Awesome. So for those of you who know, women's football is gaining traction a bit. How do you feel like this will impact impact young females who want to now play football? And even maybe beyond their younger years?
So
I think it's a great tool. Sorry, never mind.
You can go ahead. He muted himself. You can go ahead, and then you can go after that, Ariane.
No, I was just going to say that I think that it gives girls the opportunity to start at a younger age where they can actually, play against boys their age. And I think it puts them further ahead of the game than, without having a sport like this.
Awesome. Ariane?
Yeah. Just talking from personal experience, I have a little sister, so a young football athlete who really loves to play football. Like, she enjoys it so much. That's her one sport. And she could not play before. It's not accessible to women, a lot of young girls at this age. But the fact that she has, like, a touch football, like, alternative, the fact that she doesn't have to play tackle or nothing, it makes it a lot more easy for her to play. Like, nowadays, me, her, and the rest of, like, our group in the society, we just play called touch football with the technology sometimes. But yeah, it really brought her into the game in a way that she enjoys, without having to force her to play tackle. So yeah, she loves it.
Awesome. Michelle, do you have a thought about that? The impact of girls playing now?
I can hop in. Michelle has all boys, so but what I do want to share is the fact that our interests very similar to what Ariane is saying in terms of his sister. The interest level picked up tremendously with our girls. They felt like it was a safer. They still wanted to play with the boys, but we were very successful in incorporating more co-ed games. There wasn't the comfortability of playing tackle or the touch, regular touch, but they were really captivated with the technology and felt like it would have been more of a fair opportunity for them to play in co-ed situations with the boys. And it really picked up in terms of the number of girls playing interactive football and football overall at Kids Elite Sports.
Awesome.
As can I touch on it?
Yes, go ahead, please.
All right, yeah. On the flip side, from a father's perspective, and a father who played professional football who has two daughters, it gives the fathers the opportunity to do something they done growing up with their daughters, right? I wouldn't get the chance to do that with tackle football, but I get a chance to do it with interactive football. So I think it's a good thing because a lot of us dudes out there, me, Kevin's, Rombies and the Kevins of the world who only got daughters now have a chance to show our daughters that great game.
That's awesome. So how would you say this helps Kids Elite Sports?
Well, now, go
of
ahead, Dan.
Oh, go ahead. Rami, it's on you. In terms of helping Kids Elite, in terms of helping Kids Elite Sports, I mean, this is the real life video game. Kids are captivated by technology, video games, and things of that nature. Well, now they could actually be a part of it. And, anything that keeps kids excited, they're excited about it, they're engaged in it, it heightens the level of play for the game. Our campers are looking forward. When we hosted just a pilot tournament, we had numerous kids to come out with their parents, and everyone's intrigued with this movement. Kevin is really on to something special, and to be honest, we're just super excited to be along for the ride. Our campers are they're elated, and they can't wait for us to get back to camp to get some interactive football play going.
Awesome. Speaking of the kids experience, Gary, how were you and your friends talking about it after you all got a chance to play out there?
I mean, the day after I went, or I would say whenever I went back to school, I actually told the whole locker room about it. I said, this is going to change everything, the way we play, the way we think about football itself. I mean, we're over here thinking about hitting people's heads off while there's another sport out here now that is just able to enjoy it. Like, we have that mindset to enjoy the game rather than just go out there and hit someone. I mean, it's definitely game changing for sure. It's definitely something that is safer. That's something that, as a brother of a 10-year-old, it really speaks to me that it gives me hope that it'll stop the injuries. It'll actually create a new movement towards football being safer, and it'll show that you can still love the game of football without hurting someone. And I mean, it's just that big thing for not even just younger athletes, but high school athletes. I mean, I've heard so many stories of high school players almost having their dream come true, going to D1 colleges, and next thing you know, they get an injury, and that dream is just gone. But I mean, that's just something that motivates me, is that hope that it'll stop injuries.
Awesome, awesome. For the dream team, Ariane and Callie, since being going since February, how would you describe your experience with interactive football as a whole? Not just playing, but also being on the developmental side and helping with the growth of the entire business.
Um, so from the beginning to now, my experience with interactive football has been a learning and loving environment. I would say I get to continue and learn about football because ever since I was a little kid, my dad would like teach me what it was, but it's like I never got to like actually play it, but we would throw like the football in the field and that's all I knew. But so now I get to actually learn more about it and like what everything is. And so we get to like help I get to continue and learn about football and raise awareness through incredible marketing team that I work with about the safety this innovative tech brings to football. I like that kids can have a way to play a fun and safe sport that allows girls and boys to play competitively.
Awesome, awesome. Ariane, what about you?
Yeah. I've got to agree with Callie here. It's the experience was both fun and enlightening. Like just being there in the environment, even more than just the tech. The tech is incredible, but even more than just the tech, the passion, the vitality of the entire like interactive football team and the project, the fact that it just kept going no matter what obstacles came in the way or whatever happened. Like just seeing that is like inspiring, you know? And it was inspiration for like my own ideas and my own dreams. It's like, okay, yeah, something can, like I can do my own stuff. Like you can start with just an idea of making football a better play, like making football a better sport, improving it, and you can turn it into a product, or you can turn it into a technology that really changes the game. You know?
Yes,
So, yeah.
yes. That's what we love to hear. So our panelists, next we're going to have a question and answer session. But before we get into that, this is your chance to give one last word on why you would tell kids, parents, coaches that interactive football is the form of football to play. Anyone can start first.
I think it's what a lot of people. Oh, go ahead.
Ladies first.
Well, it's what a lot of people have said, right? That the girls can play, the boys can play, you can play co-ed. And I think too, I was thinking as Callie and Ariane were talking, I mean, us old folks can play. You know, why can't I get out there and play with like Romby and Desmond? Why not?
I agree. And to touch on what you guys, elite, I look at it kind of different. Elite for kids, you know, like in baseball, soccer, and basketball, there's select, you know, there's a select league. And I can easily see in this 7-on-7 being a select league for kids to take, you know, take away from the impact in the off season for junior high and high school kids to where they can still practice on them fundamental skills that I touched on or that everybody touched on earlier. And then it still easily translate over to tackle football. And then just being elite leagues out there where coaches are actually coming to look at these kids at younger ages because it's an actual form of football that's respected.
Yeah, I just think it's just a lot easier for the kids to pick up. From my experience has been to just pick it up and they go. Also for, you know, my son plays mostly soccer and cricket. So it wasn't, you know, it was almost an extension like of the things he did well with, you know, running and catching and hand-eye coordination without having to figure out how do I, you know, naturally block the flag, which you're not supposed to do, but he's going to do because he doesn't want to get stopped. Or how do I try to catch, you know, touch the flag while the person's running? So it just allowed him to be, you know, whatever athlete he is and use those talents without having to add an additional piece to it.
So I have these neighbors that are little kids, and so I got them to actually play the game. And so they're all on a soccer team, and I talked to the parents and like talked to them about what they thought about the product. And they said that they would actually go into this field of football because they were worried about the injuries. So that's why they put them in soccer, but they would transfer over to football because of this new technology.
And Brooke, you're on mute, but I don't know if you are speaking.
Yes, I said that was a great experience. All right.
I can add one more thing. You know, when I talked earlier about diversification of sports, we're always thinking about transferable skills, and Teddy kind of talked about this a bit more. This is a game that still allows a kid later in life to pick up tackle football. But but this just gives a different dynamic, a different experience. And I mean, again, a much more safer experience. and it's a lot more creative, and it moves with technology. But we always are looking for those transferable skills. And I think Romby touched upon it earlier, where this game does not, it does not get in the way. It enhances the integrity of the game, as opposed to how it's taken away with flag football, and then, you know, tackle football at a very, you know, we have some folks on here who are affiliated with schools, and, you know, you can't play tackle football in the school system. You know, that's a litigation waiting to happen. And so this is a safer, cooler way of playing, and it keeps the integrity, and these skills are transferable over to other sports later on in life.
Awesome.
Yeah. So actually, I was thinking about like how big of a phenomenon football is, and yet how few people can actually play it as like a true sport. A lot of people can play like on the street, like street football, that type of thing, but that's not the full integrity, as you were saying, of the game. When you play what's called interactive football, when you play interactive football, you're playing the true game. It's the true football for everybody. So you don't have to just sit by and watch like the NFL or something like that. You can play and experience like what they experience for yourself. And that's for everybody. And that's just an incredible thing, in my opinion.
Very valid point. What about you, Gary? Any last word?
I mean, I was really thinking about, Thanksgiving football. You could have every person in the family just play. I mean, it's something that you could have every single person of every single age play. And that's something special, because usually you got those parents in your family that are like, oh, I don't want my kids playing, or, you know, those parents even that don't really want to play. But with this product, I mean, you have the opportunity to get a feel of football and how it's supposed to be played without the risk of hurting yourself, without the risk of someone saying, oh, you didn't touch me, you didn't tag me. And I mean, it's just something really special that everyone can experience.
Awesome. I'm down for a little Thanksgiving football. This sounds like a good time. All right, what about you, Dominique?
What's the question? Could you repeat the question?
What would be your last word to tell everyone watching why interactive football is the game to play?
I just think for me, it aligns with tackle football in terms of teaching, you know, the proper techniques. And, you know, with football, everything is about development. You know, you start at an early age, and those are the type of things you want to hear coaches and parents talk about, is developing their kids and keeping the game safe. And I think that interactive football is the best way to do that, you know, getting kids prepared to play tackle football if that's what they choose to do. If you got kids that, you know, rather not play tackle football, then there's an alternate route. And I think interactive football is the way to go.
Awesome, awesome. So now that we've had our last word from all panelists, we'll be going to our Q&A. If you have any questions, please ask them in the chat box, and I will ask and allow the panelists to answer it. If you have specific panelists that you want to ask specific questions, please state that in the comment section. So I'll give it a chance for the questions to come in, and then I'll begin asking.
And Brooke, as we're waiting for additional questions to come in, I'll answer a couple of the ones that came in because I think they're more towards us versus the panelists. The first one is, do you adopt flag football rules, or are there separate rules, size of field, blocking, etc.? And that's a great question. Interactive football is different, but in terms of non-tackle football forms out there, we do align with the flag football type of play. But our rules are a little bit different. There's no flag guarding because you don't have a guard a flag. There's no rules in terms of a flag dropping and a play being stopped, right? We don't have that. So there are certain subtleties to the game that we have incorporated into our rules. But more importantly, we really look at the environment, the community. For interactive sports, we have a certain rule book, but whoever creates their own league, like Kids Elite Sports, when they launch, they may launch a little bit differently based on what that community wants in terms of their rules. But yes, we do have some solid set of rules similar to flag football, but there are certain things that change because our game is a little bit faster and that we're using more wearable technology. The second question is, what are the data elements that seem to excite the kids the most? And secondly, once COVID allows us to play again, how do we see interactive football being better than flag or tackle? Okay, the first part of that one is the elements, and I think you've heard through the comments from the student athletes we have and feedback from the kids from Kids Elite Sports. It's really the game. What the equipment is nice, right? It feels good, and that's important. How does the equipment feel? So it feels good, but more basic, it's football. Kids just love playing football. Our equipment allows it to be a transparent process. So in terms of the kids liking it, we already know kids love football. So if we can make our equipment work well with them, we know they're going to like it. So that's one. In terms of COVID, post-COVID, depending on how our communities relaunch into sports, we're going to align well with that. In terms of how we compare to flag or tackle, we're different. We want to be that option that a parent says or an athlete says they want to play this great game of football. Tackle is not an option for them, but a non-tackle form is. And we basically are saying we have the best form if having a great experience and having it fun and interactive is a priority for you, then interactive football is your option. So those are the two questions that we had in the panel. I don't know if any other questions came up.
Yeah, can I add to that, Kevin?
Sure, please.
So just to the last piece, I mean, here in Washington, D.C., I mean, we're launching with a free tournament as soon as COVID is over. We're very confident that if we get the community to experience, you know, this phenomena, that they're going to be hooked on it. I mean, it has had a 99.9% success rate with all of our campers. And once they get into it, they play the game, they want to keep playing it along the lines of interactive football. So we're going to storm the scene, and I know that Kevin in Texas is going to do the same thing, but we're going to do a lot of promotional things to get it out into the community. And we're very confident that once they put on that vest and those gloves, there's no turning back to some of those other sports.
Well said, Desmond. Well said. Appreciate that. Well, I don't see any addition. Well, there's one. Where can I go to get? Oh, that's a great question. Where can I go to get information about the league near me? We're launching in Frisco, and you can check our website at www.interactive-football.com, and that's where you'll get basic information about whether there's a league here in Frisco, in Texas, or in the DC area, or in your area. And as I said in our first webinar series on Tuesday, our strategy is to build it in those two areas first, but your town USA is next. So please reach out to us and let us get you on that list so we can bring it to your town. And I see we got interactive dashboard. Thank you, Brooke, for putting that out there. All right, want to be respectful for everyone's time. A lot of great information was shared, and really want to give our panelists a round of applause. Thank you for, one, taking the time out of your schedules to participate on our panel, We believe in interactive football. You believe in it, but we wanted the world and the folks who are tuned in to hear it not just from us, but from you. You've experienced it, and your feedback was greatly appreciated. And thank you for your time. Appreciate you doing that. And Brooke, thank you for taking the time to facilitate the Q&A with the team and with the panelists. Truly appreciate that. And just to let you know, we've got our next webinar coming up on next Tuesday, and it's going to be very interesting because we're going to be talking about STEM and football fundamentals. So not only is this a great sport, but interactive football is a platform to educate our youth and let them love science, technology, engineering, and math, and also learn solid football fundamentals. So excited about our next Tuesday webinar. That'll be the third of the series. So please tune in and you can get more information. Actually, the same Zoom link that you use for this call is the same one for next Tuesday. So thanks again. Appreciate everybody and have a great rest of the evening.